please, lend an ear. I, General Lafayette, have just come from the front lines of the siege of Yorktown, where this very morning, this 19th day of October of the year 1781, the army of our enemy, Lord Cornwallis, has just surrendered! We have won at Yorktown, and it is more than that. It has been an unconditional surrender, meaning that Lord Cornwallis has been forced to surrender all of his soldiers and all of his flags and all of his equipment. My friends, it is the greatest victory in this war since that of Saratoga! This glorious occasion for all of those brave soldiers who marched into harm's way, who gave their lives at Yorktown, and for all of those soldiers who have fought and died for American freedom, let us applaud them all! I think it's difficult to believe that this great campaign that has now culminated at Yorktown began but a few short months ago, when General Washington dispatched me, the Marquis de Lafayette, right here to Virginia. I was given 3 tasks. First, well, it was to capture a man we all once called a friend. You know of whom I speak, do you not? General Benedict Arnold. I was to bring him to justice. Yes, voice your opinions, my dear friend. My second order was to prevent the enemy from capturing all of the stores, the equipment in this breadbasket of North America. And third, when General Washington would give the order, I was to hold the enemy right here in Virginia and prevent them from moving northwards to support the war around New York or southwards to support the war in the Carolinas. Well, friends, upon my arrival this past spring, I could not complete the first part of my task. Why? Because General Benedict Arnold had been recalled back to New York by General Clinton, there to take part in a campaign of destruction upon his former neighbors in Connecticut. Well, replacing him, coming up from fresh victories in the South, was none other than Lord Cornwallis. Indeed, the most capable of the English commanders. And we would fight a cat-and-mouse campaign all summer long, right here in Virginia. Battles such as Point of Fork, Spencer's Ordinary, Green Springs Plantation, until, my friends, 2 months ago, I received the order that I had hoped for. It was from General Washington, and he stated that he would soon arrive here on the Tidewater. He would begin to march southward from the upper part of the state of New York, not to attack New York City as initially planned, but rather to come all the way here in the hope that he could meet Lord Cornwallis in the open field and defeat him in detail, bring about another grand victory and an end to this war. And of course he would not be alone, for with him would be the grand French army, commanded by Le Comte de Rochambeau, who had arrived here in America July the 10th and the 11th of 1780. Well, friends, these soldiers marched, and they arrived right here in Williamsburg City. And, my friends, by the 28th day of September, we began the march upon Yorktown. But half the battle had already been won, had it not, my friends? For it would be at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay that the French fleet under Admiral de Grasse would defeat the English fleet under Admiral Graves, paving the way for our glorious victory at Yorktown! We surrounded that place. We dug our entrenchments. We put our guns in place. By the 7th of October, all was prepared. General Washington gave the order to fire, and we began the fierce bombardment. It was more than Lord Cornwallis could handle. By the evening of the 14th of October, under cover of darkness, we seized the last 2 earthen fortifications, known as Redoubt number 9 and 10. By the next morning, we were firing point-blank range into the enemy lines. Well, Lord Cornwallis would try in vain to escape this situation, to cross the York River to Gloucester Point, and thereby break out by land. But friends, proving that God once again is not an Englishman, a great storm would rise up and push his boat back, preventing him from escaping. Well, it was but a few short days ago, my friends, that Lord Cornwallis asked to parley, asked to speak for terms of surrender. And that surrender has arrived on this glorious day, my friends, the 19th day of October of the year 1781, a day we shall never forget, for it is the day we won at Yorktown! It was truly amazing this morning at the surrender, for you see, Lord Cornwallis was not present. In fact, he informed us he was not feeling well. And I can understand that after surrendering 7,000 soldiers. But friends, he sent his second in command, an able man, a fine soldier, General O'Hara. And there, with the sword of surrender in hand, he tried to present the surrender to the Comte de Rochambeau, the French commander, who was of course senior militarily as well as socially to General Washington. Well, as he tried to present it to the Comte de Rochambeau, Rochambeau would not accept it. He said, "I do not command here. It is General Washington who commands here at Yorktown." Well, obedient to his word, he tried to give it to General Washington. And General Washington said, "I shall not accept surrender from your second in command. You may give it to my second in command," who is, of course, General Benjamin Lincoln. And is that not fitting, my friends? For was it not General Benjamin Lincoln who was forced to surrender Charleston in May of 1780? Unconditionally. Now, my friends, there was a tune being played at that moment. It was called "A World Turned Upside Down." I think for Lord Cornwallis, for Parliament, and for the King, the world most assuredly has been turned upside down. Now, my friends, the war is not yet won. I ask all of you to remain steadfast and strong, to remember this glorious struggle, for soon we shall be victorious. And this great land of the United States of America shall be a beacon for all peoples throughout the world as the truest example of freedom and independence. Spread the word, my dear friends. Let all your neighbors know that we have won at Yorktown. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America!